Something big just shifted in the market. While everyone's been focused on the chaos revolving Libra, something way more important has happened behind the scenes. A new chain has been chosen to be the primary playing ground for degen crypto traders. And almost nobody is talking about it yet. While most altcoins are just bleeding out, Sonic has been defying all natural forces in the market, up in price and exploding with on-chain activity and adoption at a rate we haven't seen in a while. So the real question is, why is money flooding there all of a sudden? Is this another short-lived hype cycle? Or hopefully, possibly, is this the start of something new and much, much bigger? Today, I'm going to break it all down for you. Hello, my name is Jessica. And without further ado, let us jump into today's video. All right, taking a quick glance at Bitcoin, nothing new is really happening. It's still sideways trending. We're still within the 96, 97, sometimes touching upper $95,000 in general, just trending sideways for now. And we can see that we have not received the end of day February 17th Bitcoin ETF inflow data yet. So you'll have to stay tuned for tomorrow's show for this information, or go to farside.co.uk to find out for yourself. That said, if we just remember and always go back to the core principles behind Bitcoin and why Bitcoin ultimately is the winner, is the king, and why it matters so much. This is actually by Michael Saylor, and he points out 21 rules of Bitcoin. And it's really important to remember this when the market is shaky, when you don't know what to expect, and when it appears that there is just one scam after another. It's really easy to get scared. And in large part, that is actually quite wise to be wary of the market, not scared of it, although a healthy amount of fear could be very, very wise to have, because the crypto market is not regulated. That is why many call it the Wild Wild West. That is also why the previous administration under Biden was putting so many stops to crypto companies, crypto exchanges, taking multiple crypto companies to court. In large part, it's because of what the rest of the world sees of Web3, sees of the crypto market, and it's scams like what has been going on lately, like with Libra, previously it was a country in Africa. This is what the rest of the world sees of crypto, and it's at times like this that it's important to separate the difference between Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. And I've said it before, and I'll go ahead and keep saying it in every single show because I don't know who's watching. It's so important to remember that, and very wise to invest in Bitcoin and don't over allocate into other altcoins or meme coins, especially new coins that seem very trendy. You just don't know the behind the scenes mechanics of the way this market operates, because it is decentralized, which is the nature of what defines this market, is that there isn't one key central authority. And ultimately the hope and goal of the space is that bad actors, as we can see as what has happened with Libra, weed themselves out. Eventually people know who you are, they know how to track you, they know how to track your wallets, they know, and eventually you get like banned, right? You get kicked out of the space. And the only people who will fall for these scams, again, by the same scam artists, are new people, unfortunately, which is also the way the world works in general. When you're young and you don't know a lot, you're often a target for older scammers. So it works the same way in crypto. And that's why if you don't want to be stressed out, it's important to remember that maybe you should just invest in Bitcoin. It's safe. The next safe bets, would have been, well, Ethereum now, which we'll get into more in this show here in a second. And I would have said Solana, I think Solana will recover. I think right now, because it's been driving and leading the altcoin season so far, and it's very fast and all these things, I think it naturally attracted a lot of the market's activities through meme coins. But that's not to say there isn't real tech being built on it. And yeah, so right now it's going through a dark day, you could say, but I do believe Solana will bounce back. I don't ultimately think you should be be panicking, but it is a good idea to diversify when things like this happen into safer investments. And there's nothing quite as safe as Bitcoin. So that said, you can take a screenshot of what is on my screen here, but they're just key principles by Michael Saylor that he has said a lot of times, like everyone is against Bitcoin, but before they're for it, everyone pays the price for Bitcoin that they deserve, because it comes down to when you understand it. And when you understand it, which is usually driven by like interest or care, educate yourself, is normally eventually when people buy. And so these are really nice. I'm going to bookmark this and also share it on my page if you want to go check it out. But the key principles behind Bitcoin, which is good to remember during times like this. That said, if we take a look at positive adoption news across the world coming in to MicroStrategy's stock and business that basically uses Bitcoin to borrow more Bitcoin to pay out. It's just this incredible whole business built around Bitcoin. And right now we can see this is the list. This is by Ben Workman, and he shares this list of shareholders that have added more than 1 million shares to their MicroStrategy holdings this last quarter. So this shows you how the smartest money, the smartest investors in the world, how they view Bitcoin. And this is why Bitcoin is ultimately king, because Bitcoin's only going to go up in value. That's why I'm not worried. And I didn't spend any time on the chart earlier. I'm not worried about Bitcoin, disappearing or going off the books or someone scamming it, because there is no CEO, right? There is no dev team. Bitcoin is a decentralized protocol, like a computer program system, basically, that was written, put out into the ethers. No one can change it. Well, they could change it, but that's a separate topic. But anyway, it's very, very safe, and it's only going to go up in value. So anyway, there's a large group of different financial funds, offices, and banks that are buying more and more into MicroStrategy's company, which is a good signal and tells us that they're seeing the value of Bitcoin. Next, you can see, this is by Bitcoin News, that the number of institutional holders of the Bitcoin ETFs is up 54.5%, over 50%, right? In the last 11 months. And you can see the chart here by Bitwise. So you can see how the mass adoption is continuing on an enormous global scale. So Bitcoin's going nowhere, guys. You need not to be afraid. Unfortunately, scams are just part of business, especially a developing cutting edge type technology and financial instrument combined, which, mind you, are two of the biggest, growing, strongest financial sectors in the market. So combined, which equals crypto and led the way by Bitcoin, of course, we're going to be seeing scams. And this is, I don't want to say and sound so pessimistic and telling you to just get used to it, but that's the truth. This is the way it is. And this is why there's people like me and other key YouTube influencers that are trying to educate you on what's going on and telling you the truth so that you can protect yourselves, because that's it. You need to do your own research, take your own responsibility, and invest carefully. Very carefully. That said, if we take a look at simply Bitcoin sharing the growing chart or picture of the United States and how many states are submitting for Bitcoin reserve legislative efforts, like how many people are putting in bills, you can see it's pretty much over 50% of the country now, which is incredible. And we can see also that Doge, right, led by Elon Musk, is the team which have their own account on Twitter. Follow them. It's Doge_SEC. They are reaching out to the public and asking us or everyone for thoughts, insights, and findings on how to fix the waste, fraud, and abuse related to the SEC. So this is actually a very interesting call for help from the public, and it definitely speaks of like earnestness and willingness to do a good job, even if that involves looking like you don't know so much, right? Because we would assume that they have it handled. But the fact that they're calling out to the public, and I'm sharing this with you, I'll repost it on my X account. You have ideas or thoughts on how they could go about chilling out and calming down on basically persecuting every crypto company, even though there are situations like Libra and FTX that oftentimes give crypto a bad name. So yeah, anyway, if you have ideas or thoughts, go let them know. But ultimately, the work that Doge is doing across the government departments is incredible. And we know that they're going to be counting the gold in the US's reserves. I think it's at Fort Knox, counting their gold. We know that Cynthia Loomis, I'm not sharing it in this video, but Cynthia Loomis, that's been championing the Bitcoin reserve in the US even long before Trump. I was listening to an interview that she was making, and she was saying that she's putting in a proposal, her team's working on putting in a proposal to use the gold reserves that the US has to buy Bitcoin with it, which would be amazing, huh? So there's a lot of change coming from the top down, from the government. In the meantime, the market is hyping up. I mean, the simple fact we're having scams is a sign that the market is like heating up and wanting to like, let's get going, you know? So anyway, on the screen here, I'm just sharing some drama with you. This is the screenshot between the market maker and Hayden Davis, which is the mastermind behind this whole Argentinian President Milei's scam associated with him in promoting, although he just reposted it. He just shared it on his X account. Apparently you can read here, and you may have already heard on other accounts, or if you haven't, I'll just let you zoom in on it. And all you have to read is really the part I'm circling with my mouse, where he says, yeah, fellas, to be honest, we're trying to max extract on this one. So being very blatant about his intentions to basically dump on all of everybody, right? On the normies, we call them, which isn't a nice way to put it, but on everyone that participated in it, right? Although the truth is, it was such a degen type, totally risky, like investment that frankly, the people that participated, I'm sure there was a small portion that were very new and maybe they got wind of it, but really, it's probably the same people that have been buying other memes, sketchy memes, that probably weren't on it. Who knows? The point is, Milei didn't take any responsibility, the president. I read a translated interview of his, and I heard his on Spanish as well. And he basically says, he shared it like he would have shared any other piece of financially liberating type tech or company. I'll share something with you here in a second. But anyway, we also heard from Meow from Jupiter, also not taking any responsibility for his association with Libra's launch, even though Jupiter was aware of the token, of the meme coin going live, and even though they profited, significantly from it. It doesn't take any ownership. You can go read it. I am not going to sit here and read the whole thing for you, but he does apologize for it and explains how Jupiter has always had, high integrity, and that they've allowed so many tokens to be traded for free, and they've been audited several times, I think 3 times he says, and they have always been very transparent about it, and that now they're going to be dedicating themselves. You can read the last paragraph here. He says, I'm not perfect, and I've learned a lot of crucial lessons. I hope to take the lessons from this and the robust systems we have built for Jupiter to define the next major phase of our industry growing up, right? So anyway, if you go check out the comments, people are not buying it. But anyway, you can go read this yourself some more if you want. Anyway, yes, it's dramatic. Yes, it's sad. I know it's driving a lot of value away from Solana temporarily. I don't think this is going to tank Solana in the long run, but there is an underdog taking advantage of it, which we will get into here in a second. But first, let me just read a few lines from Milei, the president of Argentina, and how he goes about defending himself. He says, I didn't promote it, I shared it. I acted in good faith and took a hit. And then he starts justifying it. Did the state lose money? No. Did Argentinians lose money? Maybe 5 or 4 at most. The vast majority of investors are Chinese and American. And so he says, my tweet came, just 3 minutes after the coin was created because I'm passionate about these things and found out about it. These are volatility traders that knew what they were doing. He says when Libra became public, I helped spread the word. It was supposed to help finance, entrepreneurs that lack funding. He questions the number of how many people were affected. He says it wasn't 44,000, it was just 5,000. And he says, these are highly specialized individuals and using this type of financial instrument, which I can kind of agree to, but crypto is spreading throughout South America. I know there's a huge crypto community in Argentina, builders too. So anyway, this is a translated interview he gave on his Spanish channel. And this is the part where he doesn't take responsibility. I don't personally buy this answer. I kind of do, and I don't know him very well. I haven't followed his political career, but he says, I made no mistakes because I acted in good faith. You can act in good faith and still make a mistake, for start. He says, but when I look at the political repercussions, I realize I have something to learn. That's so retarded. Like when you mess up, instead of taking ownership, you just don't even apologize, but you just jump to what you have to learn. That's not right. Like you can act in good faith and you can mess up and you should still apologize, right? So that's a little manipulative, I feel, in the way he's answering, but whatever, I'm just reading it to you. He says, I need to understand that after becoming president, I continued acting like the same Javier Milei as before. Like this, I'm sorry, I don't know him that well. I should hold back on my full commentary, but the point is, to become president already requires such an enormous level of awareness, political savviness, diplomacy. Like to get into that position, it demonstrates a human being has the ability to see above, into the future, behind, to like full peripheral intake of people, their interests, businesses, the lower class, the upper class, finances, the future, like war. Like to become president requires such an enormous level of societal and economic and like just wherewithal that I don't buy this answer. Like if this came from a 15-year-old, maybe, but this is coming from the president of a country to say that he realizes now as president, he has to act differently. Excuse me, are we dumb? I don't buy that. I could go as far as saying as maybe he acted out of good intentions because he didn't know he was being used as a pawn for his political status to promote a token. I could see how maybe he was slightly taken advantage of, but I don't. Because he's a president, so he's surrounded by advisors and people all the time. So I'm pretty sure when this guy, Jaden, if you see his picture, he looks very scammy. I'm sorry. He looks mischievous. Let me put it that way if you go look him up. Oh my gosh, come on. Like, I don't know. Like maybe good intentions. I don't know him, don't know enough about him. Sure, maybe he had naive intentions, not fully aware and educated. But the point is when you're in that position, you mess up, you apologize, and you should take ownership. But of course you can't because then it'd make him look dumber and it'd make him look like a criminal. So he has no choice but to defend himself. So that's why I just don't know. But the point is we're going to see more of this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is not the beginning. It's not the first. It's not the last. There are going to be multiple scams. And the lesson for you to take away from this is to not fall for everything and only listen to key people in the crypto space. I've already mentioned them before. Listen to my channel, ask me questions in the comments, join my Telegram community, ask, and you have to know who you're following, because if you're going to be following for every ridiculous meme coin that comes out, then maybe you deserve it. Like maybe you deserve, like, that's like to lose all that money. That literally should be your throwaway money, your gambling money. So like really, I don't want to see anyone crying because like it's so obvious, right? Anyway, moving on, this is where we have a different angle on the whole situation also to consider. This is by Jose Maria Macedo, co-founder of DeFi Labs. And he says, everyone cried for full transparency insider VC allocation with vesting period, right? People were always upset about that because VCs getting cheaper, venture capitalists are getting cheaper. And then, like not everyone knows, when like unlocks aren't always fully transparent. And then they dump on the community and it's not fair. And so, okay, so instead they got a meme coin, then meme coin fair launches became, and everyone thought they were fair because all the tokens were released into the market at the same time. So it's like everyone gets a fair chance. But the truth is it's the same game remasked, because there are still insiders to these projects, like buddies, right? Like that tell each other about it. And so as soon as it goes live, they go buy it all up. It still happens. Like they're not actually fair launches. And this is what Jose says. He says, so instead, everyone got fair launches in which insiders secretly snipe and own fully unlocked coins they can dump at any time. Retardio. Anyway, this is where we can see the effects on the Solana ecosystem. Quite dramatic. In the last 7 days, Solana is the worst performing L1. You can see it all the way over here. Very sad. And Sonic, this is what I'm going to share with you today, is the top performing layer 1 blockchain, right? And we know obviously Solana is suffering because it's home of meme coins right now, primarily. So let's keep reading. With all the rug pulls, insider trading by Solana teams happening, the consensus long Solana short ETH trade of 2024 has now flipped to long ETH short Solana. So now Ethereum is leading the way. So many are calling for, Ethereum to pump. Like this is the time. Like if Ethereum pumps now, it could very well kick off parabolic phase of the bull run. So we'll have to see what happens, guys. And then of course, Sonic, this new layer 1 I'm telling you about that's been leading the way, is Phantom rebranded. Isn't that amazing? So in just 2 months, on-chain metrics on Sonic Labs have literally gone parabolic. Their TVL, or total value locked, went from 11 million to 414 million. And their volume from 200,000 all the way up to 40 million. And their revenue from 0 to 110,000. Isn't that amazing? So it's literally growing so fast. And we can see that Sonic crosses 1 billion index volume. So how amazing is this? And if we check out weekly on-chain activity for Sonic, it has increased by 1,415%. So this is really reflecting a massive rise in user engagement and trading volume. With TVL, as I was saying, hitting 400 million in daily volume, steady above 50 million. So Sonic is rapidly gaining ground, and this was shared by Kapoor Kashitits. Anyway, and then Martini Guy comes out with this saying that while other chains are chasing memes, Sonic Labs is building the fastest, highest performing EVM chain. And here you can see some of their stats. And apparently their devs earn up to 90% of the network fees, 10,000 plus TPS, 400 million total value locked, 1 billion plus in volume. Amazing. And there are no unlocks, guys. All of the tokens are in circulation, so you don't have to worry about anyone unlocking on you, because we know that is what is coming up and happening behind the scenes with Solana. And here we can see Sonic USDT's pair, and since its launch, which has not even been 2 months, guys. So that's a decent chart. That's a happy chart. It's almost a smiley face. On the rise up. So doing very good. But all right, guys, that's a wrap for today's video. Nice and short and sweet. They are, and they do appear to be scary days, I know, but the truth is Solana was in the long-term blue chip token bucket of investments, or should be seen that way. So once again, I'd be very surprised, like extremely surprised and shocked if Solana dies. I don't think it's dead. I think it's going through a dip, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a giant rising that is capitalizing more or less on this moment in time and space where Solana's ecosystem is struggling. There is Sonic on the rise that has been performing and blowing it just completely out of the water across all categories. So it does warrant your attention and curiosity if you are wanting to reallocate some of your investment into a new and upcoming layer 1. Definitely worth your attention. But that said, guys, just stay steady, just buy Bitcoin if you don't like the stress. And in the meantime, follow my channel, and I'll always be very honest with you and just tell you straight what I think of the tokens you asked me about and the tokens I bring you and the projects I bring you. So anyway, I love you very much, and I will catch you guys here tomorrow. Bye.